Okay. Hi, Rose. It's okay. So, Madam Speaker is here. Good morning. Good morning. So, we have a few people that have joined us already. I can see Thomas. I can see Zanele, Kairian, Alutu. I can see Uche Nana. That's your sister, I would believe,
Yeah,
also.
that's my sister, yes.
Okay. Okay. So, for all the speakers, I have mute your microphones so that you can hear my conversation with Rose, and I welcome each and every one of you. So, part of the agenda is at the end of my discussion with the discussion between Rose and I, we will then have a Q&A where you will be able to ask questions. So you are welcome, Rose.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here. I just finished having my breakfast. Yeah, it's in a very awkward time to be awake during lockdown. so yeah.
Yeah, we just have to do it very early so that everyone can then go back to their lockdown activities, whatever that is. So once again, I welcome everybody to pivoting to digital intelligence and inclusion. And this is happening on the Girls in ICT Day. Girls in ICT Day is a program or an initiative of ITU. ITU is International Telecommunication Congress, I believe. And on every Thursday, the last Thursday of April, every year they commemorate the girls in ICT. And Township Coders, as a South African-based organization, is proud to host the first girls in ICT. And what a way to commemorate it. Having someone like Rose in the house.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Rose, if you can, in 2, 3, 5 minute maximum, just introduce yourself to everyone that is listening and watching.
All right. My name is Rose Buntle Nana. I am a senior student at Pearson Institute. I study my Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. So basically, this is my final year. Yay! Then we move on to getting, further masters and degrees. I actually aim and aspire to get my PhD in data science and business intelligence, mainly because of what I saw is lacking in Africa and what I think myself can fill, So that's what I aspire to do. That's not the only thing that I aspire to do, however, because I'm a kind of person who likes to talk a lot. So I do work on, advancing myself in that area. Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, that's very interesting. So let's go straight into the questions, and I'll ask you a few questions before we give the audience opportunity to also ask questions, because one of the things that we have seen is that there is huge disparity when it comes to ICT space, and that is according to the UNESCO report, in higher education, women represent only 35% of all students enrolled in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is STEM. And we can include art also to make it STEAM. But that's huge disparity in a 21st century, especially if we look at the current circumstance where most nations are on lockdown, yet some have disadvantage of access to digital technology.
Yeah, yeah.
So my first question to you is, what led you to studying Bachelor of Science degree in Information Technology?
All right. Actually, let me start from the beginning. I was in high school and I wanted to be either an engineer, an aeronautical engineer, or a medical student, which obviously in the medical field there's more females that side. I wanted to do these two things, and I had in mind, my last option in mind was IT or computer science. Then I decided to go for, like, when you go for job shadowing and finding out how the job is being done. So I went for job shadowing for aeronautical engineering, and I didn't like that at all. I went for job shadowing for medicine. I liked that. However, what I wanted to do was to be a neuroscientist. And
Okay.
standing there for 4 hours minimum bored me so much. And so those two canceled out easy for themselves. And then I decided, you know what, let me just go for either information technology or computer science, because it's very, it changes like continually. My network is unstable. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Carry on.
All right. So it was very, like, it changes, and it's so much easier that way. So I thought, you know what? Okay, I'll use this way as a way to maneuver and to add to what I currently want to know, add to how I want to help Africa. I'm losing my train of thought. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm actually starting to think of what actually, I was reading this other article when I was in grade 12, my final year, grade 12. And it really sparked like this anger within me. I realized that there are some people in Africa who have so much unique ideas. They have all of this great thing in their mind, but they don't have the technology. We're way behind. Every time when we find an avenue to, like, okay, we find a way to enter, we are already outdated because of the way the other side of the world is already advanced in technology. So then I got really upset and I thought, if it is that we can bring all of that knowledge and the IT this side, if we could bring all of it this side in Africa, then it would be
Yes.
so much better. The ideas would bloom. Honestly, we wouldn't be a developing country, we would be a developed country. So I thought,
Absolutely.
what role will I play? So the only way I can do that is for me to actually put my foot in the door by studying information technology.
No, that is very, very awesome. And you ask yourself a very important question, which was, what can you bring to the table? What can you bring to the fore? What value can you add? And that then inspired you to be able to make that decision. And obviously, just like I would believe, most young people, they find it challenging to be able to make career choices. And talk about career choices. Tell us why um, any girl or young female adult should study information technology or computer science.
Mm. All right. So we're in this era where it's no more like that thing of, oh wow, you're studying information technology or ICT or computer science. That is really nice. No, it's no more that time now. It has now become a necessity because the way things are advancing in the digital world, it's crazy. Especially now that we're having uh, when you have automation, all these
Yeah.
robots and things, it's if you do not know how to function a simple computer, actually, it has even gone beyond that. You can't just be a user of the computer anymore. You need to
Yeah.
have an advanced knowledge, because it's going to backfire if you don't know a single thing. So it has no more become like, I know this is about a girls thing, but
Yes.
I think all people, girl and boys in Africa, youngsters, need to involve themselves in this digital realm so that they're not taken aback by whatever happens. Or, I mean, or currently now we're already seeing that jobs are being taken by robots.
Yeah.
I was reading now in Amazon. Amazon, they already don't have cashiers. Like, cashiers are not needed. So you as a person, how are you going to survive in that
Yes.
realm where the normal jobs, that the traditional jobs that we had before, are
Yeah.
being taken away? You need to advance it's no more like a choice. It's more like a necessity. This is why I think more females should join this. Also, one more thing is that we all know that a girl is not only going to be a girl, she's going to be a mother, if not a wife. And a mother is she gives birth to a nation.
Yeah.
We all know that mentoring, the first mentor that you ever have, because I'm always talking about mentors, but the first mentor that you ever have is your mother, or
Absolutely.
or the person who like was there when you gave birth, when you were given birth to, the person who's going to raise you. If you, as the person who's going to raise the next generation, have no clue as to what's going on in the digital realm, then how are you going to groom the next nation into, into a better advantage? If I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes. No, you do. You do. You make
Yes,
absolute sense.
because
And
you
yeah,
are a
carry
woman,
on.
you carry a seed. You're going to carry the seed of interest in the digital realm. You're going to carry the seed of being at a better advantage in the digital realm. You carry, for a girl, it's actually more better than a guy, because a girl, you influence people around you without you realizing.
That's very profound.
Yes.
No, definitely. And I like the analogy you made that mothers, potential mothers, should know more about ICT and digital technology, because they incubate, the next generation. And if such potential mother is in disadvantage, how are they going to put the next generation in advantage position? And
Yes.
yeah, and that is actually, and thanks for bringing that up. That is actually Township Coders mantra, pivoting to advantage, because we know, and I would allude to what you said earlier, that we know that technology and automation is, the future of work, and humans must know how to not just use technology, but how to contribute to what the technology is going to produce or execute. So definitely we are on the right path as an organization, pivoting young people in general, and specifically females, to advantage where they are able to take advantage of the digital technology development. No, that is very, very that's very, very profound, as you have put it. So I'll ask you another question, then maybe we can open the microphones for the audience or the participants, so that if anyone has a question, they can then ask at this junction, because I thought we'll go through all the questions before we leave it to the participant, but because of the number, I would have to open the microphones of the participants after this next question, rather. And the question is, what are some of the challenges you encounter in the field of study, which is ICT or computer science? What are some of the challenges you've come across, so that other inspiring computer scientists or digital technologies can also have an idea of what the challenges are?
All right, there are a few challenges that are there, but some of them are minor compared to the others. First, I'll talk about the most simplest thing, which is you as a female. I as a female, let me talk for myself. As I entered the ICT field, I found out that I had to work even more harder to prove myself because I'm female. If it was that I got, okay, for example, there was a time where I got the same mark for my assignment with another male student, and with him it was like absolutely fine, but with me, when they saw my mark, everyone was shocked, and I asked myself, why would everyone be shocked? Like,
Imagine.
what's wrong with me getting a top mark, and why
Absolutely.
he got the exact same mark that I got, but you guys saw it as normal, like, wow, no, it's great for you. And then for me, it was like a shock, like, oh, wow, you actually got that. How can that be a shock? So that's one of the challenges. You literally have to work harder to prove yourself. That no, yeah, I'm actually well capable of being in the field where it's mostly dominated by men. Another challenge as well is finances. Continuing like studying with finance, especially like in Africa. Okay, let's leave Africa. Let's talk to me where I stay now. It's not, I'm part of like the middle class people, and middle class in South Africa is not always that great. Sometimes you go have your lows and your downs and your ups and your, your highs.
Yeah.
It took me, I almost actually, I think it was first year, I almost dropped out from studying because the fees I couldn't pay at that time. So that's one of the challenges, like getting sponsorship, actually convincing the sponsors to trust you to put their money into you. That's
Your
one of
study,
the, as a student. I don't think there's, all the other challenges are not that, they're not that intense, except for sponsorship, and self-awareness, self-knowledge, because trying to prove yourself the whole time to people that I'm worth it, why are you surprised at my mark? Somehow it has an effect on your self-esteem. You ask yourself, do I look like I'm not worthy to be in this position? Yeah, so apart from self-esteem and
financial related,
financial, that's the major challenges. I think if you overcome those two, then you'll be absolutely
you'll be fine. All right, no, that's awesome. I would like to give opportunity to the participants to ask questions. So I see Luvuyo, Ucha, Zanele, and Thomas. Does anyone have a question for Rose at this stage? Hello.
Okay, my question is.
Okay.
Can I ask?
Okay. So Rose, can you hear Thomas?
Yes, I can hear him clearly.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay,
Thomas.
my question is, how do you navigate between schoolwork and your responsibilities at home? As a female, obviously, there's more responsibility for you guys at home than us male. How do you navigate through the schoolwork? I know computer science is not easy, and how do you do it?
All right. So
that's a brilliant question. Yes, Rose.
Thank you, Thomas, for that question. I actually did have a struggle with that in the beginning because I'm a kind of person who wants to, I know it's bad, but I want to satisfy everybody. So there's like a ton of people who want to get all my attention, and I want to give everybody my attention. And my mom sat me down and she was like, Rose, if you're going to continue like this, you are not going to reach the goal that you have set for yourself. So I was like, okay, how do I do this? I know I'm not the best person to advise, but one thing I do advise is that you need to get someone else who will understand your goal as well and put you in the right path when you need to be, in the right path. I'm the firstborn at home. I've got so much tasks to do. I'm literally like the second mother. So I have to make sure that the kids have gotten food to eat. Have they done their homework? I have to help them with their homework, doing house chores, simple house chores like cleaning the house, washing the clothes, etc. Those things still need to be done. And I don't know if I could say 100%, but I have sort of mastered the effect of multitasking through continuation, like repetition. So I would like try it one time. I found out that my best time to work actually on my schoolwork is like when everyone is asleep. So I found out that during the day, I would do all the chores, I would do everything that I need to do. And then when everyone has gone back to sleep, I hit on my work. Other people could be different, but it's for you to find out what really works for you.
Yeah.
And you need to have in mind exactly what your goal is and tell yourself that no matter what, I'm going to achieve this goal. You literally need to tell yourself, I will achieve this goal no matter what. So that way it helps you to keep changing strategies to find the best way to multitask. For girls, actually, it's better to multitask. For guys, it's not that good. I just
No.
need to the ladies right here.
Don't go there.
Yes. So now, ladies, we do have that superpower of once we know what we want to do, then we can get at it no matter what. You can hit us with, my mom, for example, she's literally about to get her PhD. Yet she gave birth to like 5 children. How is she doing all of this? She's working, she's got children. Yeah, so it's possible.
Wow.
It really is possible. Yeah.
That is very, very inspiring. That's very inspiring to hear that your mom is doing a PhD. Wow. With 5 children.
Yes.
That's an inspiration to everyone, All right. So we'll continue. I will continue rather with my questions. Then at the end, I believe we would have. So we still. Let me see. The next question is STEM or STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics, is widely known as male-dominated field. In your opinion, what can be done to see more girls, women leading in ICT or STEM? What can be done from policy point of view, from corporate social investment point of view, and other avenue that is available to support or to motivate more girls specifically to go into ICT? What do you think can be done or should be done more, so to say?
All right, this is a very tricky question because we don't really know the exact way of how to do it, because we have been having like people being sponsored to go do talks here and there about getting more females into the tech industry, but to no avail. There's still the numbers of females in the tech thing is still decreasing. But one thing I can say is that maybe they should change, the policymakers should just adjust a bit to allow more innovation and to give a little bit of space for failure. Because some people, especially females, I know for sure, females do not like it when they do something and it's not working out. So they just like, you know what, why don't I just, do something that I'm good at, something that I can pass. So they should maybe just tell them that, no, everyone does fail.
Yes.
It's fine to fail. You can always change and find a way to get into this whole thing. Because, for instance, where I study, there are some people who have dropped out because they failed one subject or two, and they thought it's not for them. It's
And
mostly
you're
for the
talking about
guys.
female
I'm
students.
talking about females. Yes, it's
Mm.
mostly for the guys. And so now the numbers of females in my class, in my class have reduced because of that.
Mm.
And I think we just need to, as mentors, as
Policymakers.
sponsors, policymakers, we just need to be less rigid, and just tell them that no, it's okay to fail, but not to stay down. Try to find a way, bring them in, tell them that it's not only because I know that, for instance, my sister, she's studying IT. She first asked me, my younger sister, she's studying IT in high school. She asked me, do you think I should do IT? I'm like, no, yeah, you can. Then she's like, okay, but what if I don't get it? What if I don't understand? Like, I feel like I should do something that I can understand. And I told her that, what's wrong with you adventuring? What's wrong with you going in and trying it out? Then she thought, but I think maybe it's only for the nerds. She is sort of a nerd, but she doesn't think she's a nerd. But she thinks it's only for the nerds, or it's only for the girls who are not feminine enough to join. And it's not that. It really isn't about whether you're feminine enough or you more tomboyish that you need to enter. People need to be aware that IT is not about it's not about that.
It's not masculine.
Yes,
in its
it's not
nature,
that
it's not
at all.
masculine.
No, it's not at all. And also, people really the way they view IT is as though it's not fun at all. Like, they make it seem as though it is so boring. Like, if people can realize how fun, how interesting. I think what makes it more fun for me is the fact that it's interesting. The things that you can actually do through IT and with IT is very interesting.
The practicability.
Yes, so people need to, they need to tell them how fun it. Not only tell them, maybe show them. The same way we used to be taken on field trips on how nurses are doing. It's nice to be a nurse. Maybe more girls should be taken on field trips to IT places, software engineering places.
Yes.
More girls should be going for job shadowing to, yes, to get more people to be interested in it. To get more experience while doing it is better than to just tell the person, because most people don't like word of mouth. They want to actually feel how it is.
How it works. No, that is that's very profound. And I totally agree with you. And as Township Coders, that's one of the things that we hope we're able to achieve, where we bring a lot of young people, all the genders, and we bring them, into one engaging atmosphere or platform where they are able to have a first-hand experience into ICT and digital technology and everything related, so that they can be inspired and again pivoted to advantage as opposed to staying disadvantaged. No, thank you very much for that. So next question is, excuse me, next question is, what do you understand by pivoting? When you hear the word pivoting, what comes to mind?
Okay, pivoting, well, when it comes to mind for me, it's all about turning, changing. But according to maybe if you have to go into a more detailed definition, pivoting could be a change of strategy if something doesn't work. Like you were doing, let me give an example. When Mr. Thomas Edison, the one who created the bulb, when he was making the light bulb, it didn't work out first time. But he had one goal in mind, which was to bring light into the house,
Yes.
into a closed area. So
Yes.
he kept changing his strategies, and that for me, that's the most simplest way I could put it as to
No,
what pivoting is. To
I
change it
couldn't.
until you get the best results.
I couldn't have put it any better. And I agree with you that pivoting is turning or adjusting your strategy while you focus on the same goal.
On the main
You know,
goal, yes.
yes. And looking at that principle, how can the policymakers use it to increase girls and women participation in ICT? You know, the goal is to bring a lot of people, and you've mentioned earlier that the policymakers need to find ways to motivate and to make joining IT or entering into ICT more fun and simpler. So using the pivoting principle, in your opinion, how can the policymakers use it to inspire or increase the number of girls and women participation?
As I said earlier, I said that there should be more participation the way you have agreed with me.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed is that no matter how much we try to say that, okay, we're fighting for equality between men and women, that everything should be the same. No matter how much we try that, men and women are different. And so the policymakers should adjust their policies to fit both men and women, to fit both girls and boys. It should not only, I mean, some people, okay, I love giving examples because it makes it more practical.
Sure, go ahead.
There was I would call her a classmate, university mate. She got pregnant while she was studying. And because she got pregnant while she was studying, most universities, you know, after some time, if you don't attend classes, they'll kick you out. And luckily for her, she went to go and explain herself and whatever. And then I found that she was able to come back and she finished her whole studies and she got her degree and everything. I just thought that was I loved that outlook of things, that you can go to someone to explain. But I don't think everyone should be going to the head or the principal to explain. It should be put in there, you know, as
part of the policy, yes.
Yeah, as part of the policy already there, that yes, if something like that happens, or maybe you are unable to come for just maximum 3 months, you still can come back and resume from where you were. The same way they make policies of how some students, if they don't pay for a certain amount of time, they have to leave, but they can come back, pay again, and just resume from where they were before. They should just find a way to leave room for flexibility.
Awesome.
And leave room for just a little bit of failure. I'm not saying failure is good, neither am I saying it's bad. But I'm just saying that if there's a little bit of room left for failure and flexibility, that way, you know, there would be more engagement from the female side. There will be more, it wouldn't be, because obviously the policies that are made ends up being spread by word of mouth. So if you want to check, you would talk to someone and be like, do you think I can go into that university? Do you think they will allow me to do so and so? And then they'll be like, no, yes, the policy does allow that. And therefore it allows more females to now enter, because they realize, oh wait, they do allow for my circumstance.
Yes, they feel motivated.
Who can't attend maybe classes for a whole week. They do allow for this. They do, okay, so then they realize that, no, there's space for me, I can enter. So if they can just make it more intentional to make policies for male and for females, not only for everyone, and then they assume everyone, and then majority of the policies fits the males.
Okay. No, that is So I hope by the time this video is uploaded on the internet, YouTube, and other social media, the policymakers would be able to look at it and hear from you that the policies that they're making or currently existing should be adjusted and flexible or fluid enough so that
Yes.
it motivates more female and women to enter into ICT. And the example you gave is a very, very relatable and typical one. So the next question is, we are living in a digital era, more so in COVID-19 pandemic stage.
Yes.
And business, education, relationship are happening over the internet more than we have experienced in the history of internet technology. Why is digital inclusion so important today?
All right. So digital inclusion, in case other people don't really know what digital inclusion is.
Yes,
Digital
please teach us.
inclusion.
Dr.
digital
Rose, teach us.
thank you. Digital inclusion has to do with people being involved in the digital era, in the digital realm. How? You know, especially in Africa now, this whole digital inclusion thing is necessary. It
Yeah,
really is necessary. And it's a bit challenging because not everyone has the resources
true.
to access, can even afford, let's say, a simple laptop. Or if they can afford laptops, some of them cannot afford
Data.
connection to the
Yeah.
internet. So this digital inclusion will help to just cut down on that division,
Yeah.
on that gap that we have. But how to do it would probably be for, I know already the libraries allow free access of Wi-Fi. That
Okay.
already is working. But we need like more places to have more, should I say,
Access to internet.
yes, access to internet than ever before. If we want to engage and cut down on the gap, we need more
Yes.
of that. And
Yeah.
then we keep on depending on the government to give us laptops and give us this. We can't be doing that. That way we're not gonna cut down the gap. We need
Why?
more people who are like neighbors, your neighbor, someone in the same district as you. We need more people to rise up to just be a helping hand. Go buy 3 laptops if you have the funds to, and go give it to someone without any strings attached. Maybe make a Wi-Fi place, or make another place for kids to play or whatever, and then there's also free
Access
access to
to
internet, so
internet.
people
Yeah.
could come there. We don't only need the government to help, we need also people to rise up so that we can close down on that digital division, on that large gap that we have.
Wow. Wow. So that then the way you put it and the way you finish with your delivery, it alludes to the I think it's an African adage that it takes a village to raise a child. Is that
Yes, yes,
true?
yes, exactly that.
So so we can leave as a society, we can leave everything to the government to solve. We also have to participate, and
Yes,
we've seen how limited our governments are in all sphere,
yes.
when it comes to service delivery, and all of that. So let's see. So my next question would then be, considering more young people are using the internet, interacting with digital technology, and according to World Economic Forum reports, parents, educators, and leaders have responsibility to prepare young people for the digital era, which is digital intelligence. or DQ. So it's very important that we all begin to have or improve our digital intelligence. What is digital intelligence or DQ?
Okay, so we know that digital actually is the language of today. We know that digital is the language of today. So digital intelligence has to be with knowing how to use that whole digital thing, to use the internet, how to use it. Basic example, what you share on the internet, how you share it on the internet, who are you sharing it to on the internet. It just has to be with knowing exactly how to use the internet. Correct.
The internet, and also engage with the technologies that are
Yes.
on the internet, either it's social technology or work-related technology. No, that's
Yes.
awesome. So some of the digital intelligence components are, according to the World Economic Forum report again, the components are digital identity, digital use, digital safety, digital security, digital emotional intelligence, digital communication, digital literacy, and digital rights. Could you tell us what these mean, all these components in, what's your understanding of them, and could you explain to everyone what they mean?
All right, let's first start with digital identity.
Yeah.
Digital identity, we all know it's exactly how you present yourself in the digital realm, in the digital area. That's exactly how you present yourself. It has to obviously be with you, like it's an identity kind of thing. So I know there are some people who think that, no, the way I present myself on the internet is not how I am. I'm totally different from the two. No, people shouldn't get it mixed up. No, that's not how it's going to work these days. The way you represent yourself on the internet is the same way people are gonna view you, if that makes sense. And then when we go to the use of digital, when we go to digital use, we know that digital use is the ability to use digital devices. So the identity part was to create your identity, your reputation online. And then the use is to deliver, to use the devices and the media given.
Okay.
To be able to keep a well-equipped balance, that balance between the two. And then digital safety, that one is obviously to be safe, to avoid risks online. Funny risks like threats and bullying and etc. Then we go to digital security, that is like avoiding the actual cyber threats. You can confuse the two. You can confuse safety and security, but safety is it's like the verb of keeping safe.
Yeah.
And then digital security is avoiding the cyber threats. So obviously that's when you're going to use things that would protect you, like antiviruses, things that would be there, like softwares that would protect you from such threats.
Yes.
And things,
And
obviously,
strong
to
password
protect your
also.
data.
Strong
Yes, and
password
strong
for
passwords,
all
those
the
simple things like that. Yes, you cannot be just giving your ID number to everybody out there. It's simple things like that that protect you. Another thing you mentioned there, I think you said emotional intelligence.
Yeah, digital emotional intelligence. Yeah.
Yes, digital emotional intelligence. That's obviously having a good relationship between people online. Having a way to communicate with people
Tell us
online.
about that. Tell
Yes.
the black Twitter that.
Oh dear. The way with emotion. Okay. I noticed. Oh, There was one person I read online once. She was talking about how she had a YouTube channel before, and
Yeah.
she was saying all vulgar words and and talking bad about people on this YouTube channel. And then
Yeah.
she decided to just delete it. Her
Yeah.
life's not there anymore, not knowing that there's someone out there who probably recorded that video. So years down the line, she went to go for an interview.
Yes.
She went for an interview, and then she went with her A game. Everything was great, and then they showed her the video and said, "Is this you?" She was so embarrassed, but she
Wow.
didn't understand how did they get
Wow.
this. I deleted it from
Yeah.
YouTube.
YouTube.
I made sure that I'm not like that anymore. But it's not even about that. The
Yes.
way you communicate, the, the the way you build relationships online, and then you just backfire just like that. There are other people on the other side of the line who take screenshots. There are other
Yes.
people on the other side of the line who are like, okay, I'm gonna take notes of that and I'm gonna keep it. You don't even know when it is that it's going to backfire on you. So this is now where the ID comes into play with the emotional intelligence. You
Yeah.
need to be able to communicate well with everyone. That's
Sure.
correct. At the same time, you need to know that whatever you do, it's going to mar or make your reputation. It's going to be there for life. Whether you delete it or you don't delete it, the
Yeah.
fact that you put it there online, it can be traceable. So now, all of this just comes into play. It just connects. You need to be able to keep yourself secure. You need to be able
Yeah.
to know that you cannot be you cannot be swearing at people and dissing people and threatening people online and thinking that it's just you're going to go scot-free. Really,
Yeah.
the way Black Twitter has made things has just made it seem like it's okay to go and insult someone,
Insult
and then
people.
it's not going to have
Exactly.
any
Consequence.
repercussions on you. Exactly. Oh, I
And
don't
that's
know.
not, and permit me to come in there. I mean, in this day of digital era and social media and all of that, even recruitment companies,
Yes,
they are using
the
your
media.
social media profile
Exactly.
as part of the recruitment process.
Yes,
So yeah,
exactly. I remember I went for an interview in first year. I was looking for a job first year.
mm,
So I went for an interview and then they called me in. Bear in mind I didn't have that much of knowledge of of IT. I didn't have that much skill in
yeah,
IT as yet. I was just looking for a job because I needed to find a way to fund my fees.
yeah,
And so they called me in and they're like, so can you tell us about this and this? And I answered some few questions I could answer, some few questions I was totally blank. And
yeah,
then they said, the way you represent yourself online is like you know everything. So we just want to, keep tag on you, want to keep track on you, and then we're gonna call you in some few years. I'm like, wait, hold up. Do you mean online? What do you mean online? How do you know me online? They're like, no, remember this is a bank's company where you have to code, so we need
mm,
to know
mm.
exactly who it
Your,
is that
your all-round repetition is key to
exactly. So
them.
they went to my LinkedIn account, they went to my Instagram, they went into my Facebook account to check
Mm.
exactly
Who
what am
you
I
are or
about,
what
what
you
do I
represent.
post when I'm free, when I know that okay, this is what I want to post
My
now.
space, my
Yeah, my
Twitter
space,
space,
what is it
my cyber
exactly? So they're
space.
like, exactly. So then they're like, yes, no, we checked you out and we liked it. And I'm like, okay, so there are people who are actually watching there are always
Mm,
those secret agencies who would be there to check you out. And you
mm,
think that they're not there to watch you. It has a reputation on everything. If it was in the olden days, maybe it wouldn't
yeah,
have been that much. But now everything is just integrated, everything is just
yeah,
intertwined to each other. You have to make sure that whatever you put online, if it has to be brought out now, will you be fine? Will you be
yeah,
ashamed of it or not?
yeah,
This thing of people doing, I'm sorry to say, on Instagram, where they do things like they twerk online
Oh
live or
yes.
something like that. It
Yes.
seems like it's just live and it's not going to be recorded or something. There's someone out there who's just keeping tabs on you.
Yeah.
This is going into an archive somewhere. Whatever you do, I just need people to realize that whatever they do, it's not a joke. There's someone watching you. There
Watching.
really is someone watching you, or who's going to watch you one way or another.
And before you carry on and explain to us the digital literacy and digital communication, digital literacy, and digital right as part of the digital intelligence component, I just remembered there is a challenge, that was posted out there on Instagram, and some immigration officers, participated in that challenge. Immigration officers in Nigeria participated in that challenge, and their superior, officers saw how those immigration officers participated, and because of that, they are suspended, if not fired. So also your what I'm saying is that in relation to digital intelligence, when all these challenges are posted out there, be careful of which one you participate in and the effect of it in your career and also personal life. So thank you for that. So tell us about the three outstanding, which is digital communication, digital literacy, and digital rights as part of the digital intelligence.
All right. Digital communication, it's almost similar to the emotional intelligence in how you communicate with people, how you talk with other people, collaborate with others, whatever you, obviously it has to be with using the digital technologies given, but it's how you communicate. How do you do it? It has to be in the how. What do you say? Is it being given in the right manner? For instance, let's just give a simple example. I noticed the youngsters when, well, I'm a youngster too, but the younger ones, when they communicate to someone older, they don't mind calling them by name online. I know this seems really maybe old-fashioned, but I just really feel like the way you address someone older than you, regardless of whether it's face-to-face or online,
or social platform,
give respect to whom, like exactly the way the Bible says, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. You cannot be calling people by name who are older than you online. I don't know, maybe if the person who's older is fine with that, then that's okay, I guess. But the way you just need to communicate right. You cannot go in and start talking without greeting. These are simple things. You cannot go ahead and okay, people I noticed don't know how to communicate properly. So there's that whole problem of miscommunication. So someone would be saying something and they wouldn't understand what is being said. So if people can learn how to articulate and how to write exactly what they mean properly online, so that they don't get misunderstood or things like that, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. And permit me to also comment there before you go to digital rights and digital literacy. One thing that I've noticed also in amongst young people is when they are typing, they don't use full sentences. They don't use, take us through that, because to me, this is my own personal opinion, when that becomes a practice, when you are not typing the correct words, or wording, for example, you want to type what, instead of WHAT, you type WAT, YOU, you just type you only. So all of that kind of way of communication, maybe, it's okay to be social in that manner within your peers, but I've seen it also that when some young stars because I have the privilege of being a mentor to some of the small business owners, and I've
Yes.
seen how they type their emails, So, in my opinion, again, when you get used to typing in that manner, it will impact
It
on your
affects, yes.
career or profession or business communication. So what do you have to say to young people out there,
Okay, for me, I realized that it's habit. Once you
Okay.
started, you don't realize when you continue. So what I did is, because I started to write, I really dislike the whole shortcut writings, but then I started to now adapt to it somehow because people kept using it with me. So I started adapting. So instead of me saying communication, I would say comms. And then I realized that, oh, wait, this is going to backfire because I'm going to end up using it without knowing somewhere else. So then that's where now I implemented to remove autocorrect. I know this sounds really weird, but I removed autocorrect from my phone so that I can be able to challenge myself that when there's a red
type the
underline,
correct words.
yes, when there's a red lining underneath the word, I need to find out how that is spelled correctly so that I have no red lining. It sounds really simple, but it helps. This is something practical that I do. It helps because now you realize that, oh, wait, communication is not spelled with one M. Oh, communication is not with S like shin, it's with TION. So now you as a person has to find ways to make it easier for you. At home, what we do is we have word of the day. So every day we take out the dictionary and we find out a word that we've never used before. And in that way, we find ways on how to incorporate it into our daily sayings and how to say it daily and how to do it daily. That way, you're able to communicate better using more accurate words to use. If I'm making sense, am I making sense?
No, you do. Okay, so the last two, digital literacy and digital rights. Please explain what they are to us.
Literacy. So digital literacy for me, I think that one, I take that a bit personal, not too personal, but my grandmother is literally quarter to 70 years old. she's I think she's gonna turn 70 in a year or two. However, she makes sure that she understands what, as it is now, she can make video calls and etc. She wanted to even join this feed, but she couldn't download the Zoom. So for her, she tries her best to get, knowledge on how, she tries her best to get knowledge on how to use things, she doesn't want to be backwards, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
she does not want to be left out of the
doesn't want to be left out. So
era.
so basically what I'm trying to say is digital literacy is the ability to now use this digital technology, to share it, to make
to participate.
To incorporate it to your daily living. Because my grandmother uses it now for her business, because her business is big, it's booming. So she uses it now with her business. She asked me once, Rose, please can you help me to tell me how am I going to connect my emails to my cell phone? And then I'm like, okay, I'll do it for you. And she insisted that she doesn't want me to do it for her. She wants me to tell her how to do it.
True.
Yes, so if you yourself, you should try your best to be illiterate in this digital technology era. You need to try your best to know how to use it correctly, how to share, how to connect, simple things like that. That's digital literacy. When we move on to digital rights, we all know that it has to do with legal rights. You need to know that you have freedom of speech, yes, but then you cannot go insulting other people. You need to know that, yes, you can share content. You can share content, but can you share it as your own, as if it's your own? Like, it's copyright things. You need to know copyright, terms and conditions. You need to, these are the kind of things you need to know. Intellectual property, this hate speech, all of that. It's part of the rights. If you are going to use the digital technologies, you need to know how to use it well.
Absolutely.
If you leave a gun in a child's hand and you expect the child not to harm somebody else or herself,
Yeah.
like, that's just not smart. If you want the child to know how to use it, take the child to lessons. So you yourself, you need to go check online how to use these things if you don't really know how to use them, so that you don't have to harm other people. Find out the rights, find out what exactly am I supposed to do, how am I supposed to do them, so you don't have to harm somebody else in the
Wow.
process.
Wow. No, that's very, very profound. Thank you very much. And what I would also like to add is, we all sign up to some of these app. We download apps from the App Store, the Google Play, and the rest, without reading the privacy policies, the term of service, the terms of use, and all of that. So I would just like to encourage everyone also to take time to,
To learn.
scan, yes, to scan through and to read through. Yes, I'm guilty of that also, like, most of us. But I'm just saying that it's key that, we get ourselves familiar with the policies and some of the things we sign on to on most on those applications. Okay, that brings us to the end of my questions to you. And, you have been an absolutely, absolutely great speaker. And thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for all that you've shared. We've learned a lot from you. And I believe
Thank you, sir.
the participants also have learned from you. As at this moment, we have Sizwe, we have Kyrian, Thomas, and Zanele. I would like to leave the platform to anyone that has a question or two. Does anyone have a question for Rose? Anyone with a question for Rose before we round off? Okay, it's okay. It seems like no one has a question for you. Any closing remark?
I don't really have that much to say. All I have to say is that we need to up our game, as especially females in Africa. For us to be able to combat all of this, we need to find ways. We need to find ways to bridge that gap by being a part of it. We need to put our foot in the door, literally. We cannot wait for somebody else to come and help us. We need to come and be the examples ourselves. We need to be the representation of more females in the field of science, in the field of mathematics, engineering, most of those fields. We need to be there. We need to put ourselves in there. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, Rose. And we've learned a lot from you. And I would like to also appreciate all the participants. Thank you very much for, excuse me, thank you very much for connecting with us and engaging also. I believe we've learned one or two things. This video is going to be shared on our Township Coders social media platforms, the YouTube, Facebook, and also on Twitter. Then we can continue the engagement from there. And power to the girls.
Yay! Power to the females. Thank
Power to
you.
the females. Thank you. Take care. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. God
Bye.
bless you.